Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. It has been forever. I think it's probably been about 2 weeks or nearly 2 weeks, or it's 2 weeks today. I'm not sure, but I haven't been very well at all. I done something to my finger. That's what we're going to talk about. So I want to apologise that I haven't been uploading. I haven't been very well at all, and I can't really do anything with this. Like, I can't use it at all. I can't even put like my hair up properly. I've done that with one hand. Don't ask me how I managed to do that. Couldn't do it again if I tried. Like if I'm having a shower and I need to pop my hair up in a clip, I have to get like my boyfriend to do it because I physically, you don't realise how much you actually use your thumbs. So I can't use my thumb at all. I can't even like open a bottle. Not that I drink pop, but I did fancy some Coke, Dr. Pepper yesterday, and I physically couldn't even open the bottle because I can't hold the bottle and then use like my other hand, to open the top because I physically can't put any strength on anything, on like my whole hand, because it hurts my thumb too much. But we're going to talk about we're going to talk about what happened, and I'll explain everything so then you guys know. And I will probably insert some pictures. If you are very grossed out, don't watch this, okay, because it is a bit gross. Yeah, so let's start from the very beginning. So I am just like in my shorts. I've been at work and now I'm absolutely exhausted. My first day back, I work term time. Excuse me. Yeah, so about 15 years ago, I was at a friend's house, having a few drinks. We had a few, there was a few people there. And I remember rightly, I was leaning against a drawer, and both my thumbs were behind my back, and I went like that, and the drawer shut on both my thumbs. Painful, but not like, oh my god, not like that, but it was a little bit painful. And then they just kind of, a bruise did appear, or like blood under the nail, I'm not sure. I can't really remember because it was such a long time ago. I'm so sorry guys, I'm so tired. Having so many lie-ins for the past like 7 weeks and then getting up so early today. I work in a school. It's nearly killed me off. Yeah, so anyway, they just eventually, they didn't fall off. They just grew back, a bit lumpy, bumpy. The nails were very like lumpy and bumpy, like that kind of thing. And they grew wonky. They didn't grow out like nice and straight on either side of the nail, the like side of the nails, and it was just wonky. It was a horrible mess. This one though is fine. That one's fine. This one was just knackered. It got really badly damaged. And over the it took years, 15 years. It took to just for it to keep growing out really, really, really wonky, and it just kept getting worse, not better. No matter what I did, it just didn't get better. I even filed the nail flat, the actual nail flat, and it looked perfect. Looked like a normal nail. Perfect nail, and I'm not even joking. I filed it all flat and it looked fine. No lumps and bumps in there, nothing. And then a month later, it would start having all these lumps and bumps again. There was nothing I could do about it. I even went to the doctor, and they were just like, oh, because I was like, maybe it's like a fungal infection, and I know that's gross. I'm a very clean person. I don't know how you would get a fungal infection in your nails. Like, I don't know that. But I even went to the doctor to try and figure out like what's going on with my thumbnails. I get embarrassed, all this sort of stuff, and he was like, there's not actually anything wrong with them. You've just damaged your nail beds, which I knew that anyway. But I thought eventually the damage would grow out, but it didn't. didn't matter how long my natural nail would get, it can't always be lumpy because my nail bed was bumpy, bumpy. So, yeah. And I was like, oh, right, okay, anyway, that was that. And then, about a week ago, I do I do cleaning a lot, I wash up, I shower or bath like twice a day, which isn't good for you, showering that much, believe it or not, but I do. And because these are damaged, or well, this one mainly, my other thumb is absolutely fine, really. Looks a bit lumpy and bumpy, but it's fine. It's not going to fall off, it hasn't separated from the nail bed. This one had. And I knew that because when I seen the doctors a few weeks ago, he was pushing my nail where my cuticle is, and he was going, oh, it does feel a bit like squidgy, like it's not connected to your nail bed. But the rest of it was connected. It was just the back part close to my cuticle. Anyway, water must have been seeping under there and making it worse every time, like I'm showering, having a bath, washing up, whatever. It would have been getting under there. So a tiny piece of my nail I noticed was hanging off. So a wasp outside was actually hanging off. So I didn't know what to do because it actually wasn't a small piece. It was quite a biggish piece of my nail at the back of the cuticle was hanging off. And you will see lots of pictures coming up as well. I will put some on screen for you guys. You will see them in a minute. So I was like, right, okay, how do I deal with this? This is quite a biggish chunk of nail that's poking up. Like, so poking... So this is the top of my nail. It was poking upwards kind of thing. So what I did was I Googled, and it did say that sometimes you can get, like, brittle, especially if you wash quite a lot, and your nails getting quite wet. They will basically break. So if you've got any bits that are poking up, to trim them back. So I did, trimmed it back. And obviously this was the piece that wasn't connected to my nail bed. That it wasn't connected to my nail bed. So it was coming off anyway. The water and things like that was seeping underneath was just making it worse. So I was just like, right, okay, so as I was cutting it back and cutting it more and more and more kept coming off, to the point that half of my nail just came off. Didn't even have to pull it. It just fell off on its own, and it looked fine. The nail bed didn't hurt, nothing, wasn't painful, and I was like, this is actually good, because a new nail is going to grow through and push my old nail that's at the bottom part of the finger, will push that off, and I'll have a new nail. No, that's not what happened. Let me tell you now, that's not what happened. Never again will I have this done. Never again. So I put a plaster over it because I thought, right, I don't want to be getting it wet. I don't want to be getting the nail bed wet, so I put a plaster over it when I was in the bath. I didn't need to. I could just, my hand wasn't in the bath anyway. And I thought, I don't want any bits of dust and stuff getting in there either. So the next day, I noticed basically that the plaster wasn't even on my finger when I woke up. Had a look at it, and I will put a picture on screen now for you guys so you can see what it looks like. Oh, I'm so sorry for yawning. Oh, I had a look at it, and what is that on the wall? And it was red raw, swollen. My nail bed was really swollen. It was red raw, so swollen, and it was leaking. It was leaking, like, it wasn't like this. Do you know what? I hate this word, pus. I hate that word. It's so gross. But it wasn't that. It was just clear. I don't know what it was, but it was leaking, and it was just like nasty, and I was like, and I was putting it in salt water as well to make sure it was staying nice and clean, but I didn't want to put it in the bath when I was in the bath. One, because there's like bubble bath in there, and two, I wanted it to dry out. yeah, so it was leaking, so I was like, this isn't right, and it got to the point that it was actually sore then, it was really sore, so I went to the hospital, and I was like, yeah, basically sort my finger out, told them what happened, like, and how it's been over the years, and first of all, he looked at it and he was like, right, he said, I think what's going to happen is you've definitely got a hematoma. I'll put that picture up again. So that big red thing that you see is actually my nail bed. Now, your nail bed shouldn't be that red and inflamed and that swollen. I wish I took a picture of it from the side. No, my boy. It's hot, isn't it? I wish I took a picture of it from the side so you could see how swollen it was. And he was saying it's a hematoma. So basically, because I will keep it on screen so I can explain it to you. So basically, where the hematoma was and where the rest of the nail was that was still attached to my nail bed, the swelling didn't have anywhere to go but swell upwards like this. So in the end, he was like, yeah, no, we're going to have to remove the rest of your nail. He said, and the thing is that part of your nail is actually attached. And the other thing is the injections are super painful. We are going to have to inject you. It is still classed as surgery. He said, and they are extremely painful. He said, I will warn you now. Zeus. Sorry, guys. He can be a bit trampy sometimes. Yeah, so I had a bit of a cry because I was scared to have it done. So then what he did was I got up on the bed. I already went white as a ghost because I was so scared, and I shake like this when I'm really nervous, like I can't keep still. And he injected me through it's so hard to show you. Basically the ends that side and this side. So that side there and this side here. He injected me, it's basically like injections that you get when you go to the dentist. And I was like gripping onto the bed, like my hand was over like this side like this on the table for him. And he had all of his tools out, and I was trying not to look because I would have just panicked if I seen anything. And I did say to him, and I should not have said this, because it made me worse. I literally said, sorry, before you before you do anything, can I just ask you something? He said, yeah. And I said, how are you going to get the nail off? He said, with a scalpel. Oh my God. And I was like, oh my God, you're going to use a scalpel, you're just going to slice it straight off? And he said, basically, yeah. And I wish I never asked. That made me worse. So I'm there, and he's just like, right, let's, inject you. So I'm like holding on to the bed, like waiting, and I was like, is that it? And he said, yeah. I was like, really? And he said, yeah. And I said, that didn't hurt. I said, you made out it was going to be really painful. And it was fine. Then he done the other one. Fine. And then he said, let's wait 10 minutes for it to numb up. And I was like, okay. So we waited 10 minutes for it to numb up. And then he was like, right, close your eyes. So I closed my eyes, and he's going, can you feel that? Can you feel that? Can you feel that? And I could not feel a thing. Nothing. Not even the slightest touch. Nothing. And I was like, nope, can't feel anything. And he was like, okay. He said, I'm just going to put an injection under your nail. And I was like, no, it's fine. I said, you don't have to do that. I can't feel it. Please don't put an injection under the nail. That I will probably feel that. Please don't do it. I begged him not to do it. But he was like, we've got to just in case. But luckily, I couldn't feel it at all. Like nothing. He had to do it. And then he was like, right. He said, give it 5 more minutes just to make sure that the injection that I've just done under your nail is going to work. And I was like, okay. Waited 5 minutes. And at this point, I am starting to shake, and I did nearly throw up. And I never do that. But I was so scared. And I kept thinking, he's just going to get that scalpel and slice that nail right off. And I just kept thinking about it, and I was just making myself more and more and more whiter and whiter and whiter, to the point I did nearly pass out. He was like, even got up and checked if I was alright. And then he was like, right, so I'm going to take your nail off now, okay? And he was talking me through it, but I wish he didn't. I wish he didn't tell me what he was doing. But then you kind of also want to know what they're doing. I didn't look at all. I tried not to look. I looked the other way. And I was like, okay. He said, all you're going to feel is tugging. Like, you know, when you're having a tooth out or something like that. All you're going to feel is tugging and pulling and things like that. But you're not going to feel any pain. And I was like, okay. So anyway, and I could feel the pulling, the tugging. No pain whatsoever, but I could feel the pulling and the tugging and all this sort of stuff. And then he said, it's done. It's off, it's done. And I was like, thank God for that, it's over. It's over, thank God for that, it's over. But the way this isn't finished yet, by the way. Don't click off just yet. Then he wrapped it up. I will put a picture on screen now of how this is of the first bandage that I had done. It had to be wrapped up like that because my hand physically my thumb had to stay like that. It had to for a reason. I can't remember what it was. I wasn't allowed to put my hand down, like down there. I wasn't allowed to put my hand there at all. I'm really bloated. Look at that. I wasn't allowed to put my hand down. And the reason I had to keep it like up like this, even when I was sleeping, I had to keep it up above my head. Because every time, it even does it now, if I put my hand down, the blood shoots to my thumb, and it throbs, and it's really like quite uncomfortable. It's getting better now, but that first day when I did forget and I put it down, I was like, oh my God, that's painful, and I had to lift it back up. Yeah, so he wrapped it really tight, and the injections were still there, couldn't feel a thing, and I thought, perfect, not in any pain. And I was in a bit of pain before I had it done, you know, before I had the little surgery done. I was in a little bit of pain, and I was like, oh, I'm not in any pain, this is brilliant, until the anaesthetic wore off. That's what it is, isn't it? The anaesthetic, that numbing injections wore off. Then I was like, yeah, now I'm feeling it. And then an hour went by, and it just got really, really, really bad, to the point where I literally had to hold my arm like this. I had to hold it up pretty much or rest it up there. I wish I had a piece of string that I could tie to my wrist and put to the ceiling, because that's the only thing that was taking the pain away. Well, not even taking it away. Like, I don't know, the pain could be out of 10, it would take it away to like a 7. I don't know why, it was just helping the throbbing. And when I say the throbbing, it got to the point that I couldn't feel the tip of my finger. And I did start getting concerned, and this was about 11 o'clock at night. I was in tears on the sofa because the pain was excruciating, and I couldn't feel the tip of it. I kept going like that up and down, and as I got near to the tip of my finger, I couldn't feel anything at all. So I was like, it's going to turn black. My thumb's going to turn black. I'm going to have it up, like my thumb cut off, and I did start panicking because I physically couldn't feel it. I couldn't feel the tip of my finger at all. And then I had to go back the next day anyway. He did tell me to go back the next day, and he was going to change the bandage up and give it a clean, make sure there's no nastiness going on with it. And I went back. He took the bandage off, and this is where I got really scared, because obviously I wasn't numb. And I even said to him, before you redress it again or clean it, can you give me an injection? He couldn't. So he took the bandage off, but because the bandage on the inside was sticky, I'll put a picture on screen. I had to soak it because it had stuck, because it wasn't a non-stick one, it had stuck to the nail bed. Obviously, your nail bed bleeds. So when he took my nail off, it bled, let me tell you that, and he did struggle to stop the bleeding. He did struggle to stop the bleeding. So, I had to soak it for about 15 minutes in some cold water, and let me tell you, when he took that bandage off, the release of that pressure just went, and it was like, oh my God, this is so nice. And like, I slept 2 hours that night. The first night that I had this done, I only slept 2 hours because the pain was that bad. So when I went to the hospital the next day to have this like taken off and cleaned and redressed again, when he took that bandage off and put it in cold water to get the other piece of material off of that's stuck to the nail bed, when he sat it in cold water and that bandage was off, I was like, oh my God, this is amazing. The pain just instantly went. It was weird. And even he looked at my hand and he said, I'm really sorry, I did do your bandage way too tight. And I said I was concerned because I couldn't feel the tip of my finger. He said, I am sorry about that. He said I had to do it tight. He said I shouldn't have done it that tight. He said I did have to do it tight because of the bleeding. And he had to use something that clots it up, basically, because it wouldn't stop bleeding. So that was fine. And when he took it out of the water, I literally didn't look at it, and I just went like that. I was like, please don't, like, tried keeping it close by me, like this. And he said, are you alright? And I said, please don't clean it. And he said, what do you mean? He said, I have to. And I said, I don't want you touching the nail bed. I said, it's flesh. It's basically flesh. You are going to be touching flesh. Do you have any idea how painful that is? Right? And he was like, no. He said, I'm just going to saline, is it, or something? I'm just going to drizzle it over there. And I was like, okay, as long, just don't touch it. Just don't touch it. And he's going, yeah, that's fine. I'm not going to touch it. Anyway, he then let me manoeuvre you. So then, what he'd done was, I'm going to show you on this hand, you see. He was like, I had blood. There was blood everywhere. No, Susie, that's Mummy's bad finger. Sorry. He said, what I'm going to do, he said, I'm just going to clean up the back of the thumb and things like that, because you've got dry blood on there. And I was like, it's fine, just leave it. I said, I can do that. He said, well, you can have a bandage over it. He said, so we need to clean it. And he said, are you sure you're right? And I said, you're a bit rough. And he was like, oh, I'm so sorry. And I said, it's the sides. Like, so basically, if I show you on my index finger, if I show you on here, when he's cleaning the back, imagine this has got no nail on it. And if you have your nail taken off with no damage, it's painful, but it's not really painful. If you already had half of it taken off and then a hematoma appear, and then you had to go to the hospital and have the other half taken off, then it's red raw, it's super damaged, and it's basically flesh. So imagine this, no nail bed on there and flesh. He started going, is that alright there? And I was like, yeah, that's fine. He went, is that alright there? And I said, yeah, that's fine. He touched the top. Is that alright there at the top of your finger? And I said, yeah, that's fine. So, what happened was he started to clean it, but he was going like this. He was going, I'm pulling that part down. Oh my God. And the pain was worse before I had my nail taken off, or when I was having my nail taken off, or after I had my nail taken off. It was the worst pain I've ever felt. It felt like he might as well have had something scratching my nail bed. Like, and it's just flesh, guys, it's just flesh. So I was like, oh, like I couldn't start, and then I just burst into tears. And he said, all done, like that. He said, I'm gonna bandage it up now. And I was like, thank God for that. And I said, can you not put the bandage on that you've already had on? And he said, no, that's fine. He said, I'm just going to put a different one on, which I'll put on screen now. He said, but this isn't going to have anything on the inside. He said, it's literally just going to be that pink thumb protector with a bit of tape around it. He said, there's not going to be anything on the inside. So I was like, right, okay. He said, and the reason being is because we want it to air out. We want it to scab over. If we keep it bandaged really tight, it's not going to scab over. It's going to stay moist and all this sort of stuff. So I was like, okay, that's fine. So he then started to bandage it up. And these bandages, let me show you. This is one that I've only just had changed on Friday. I have to go every couple of days, believe it or not, to have it done. But I can go to my doctor's now and have it done. So this thing here, this pink one, it comes... How can I... Okay, I can't say what I was going to say, because there might be... Yeah, no, I better not say that. So basically it comes with a little lip on it, and you have to pull it down over the thumb. You guys know, you know. So you have to pull it down over the thumb. But what he done was I had to really hold my thumb like super tight like that. And he was like pushed it over the top. But as he pushed it over the top, it went and rubbed. His finger literally went like that on top of my nail bed. And that was it. I was that much pain. I jumped up off the bed and I burst into tears. And I said, please, no more, no more, no more. And it was painful, guys. It was really painful. I mean, I've had appendicitis before, right, where I've had to have I had 2 operations. I had open surgery and keyhole surgery at the same time because it had ruptured, right? That obviously I was asleep, that's fine, but a week later I had a serious infection and they had to cut my big scar open. Even it had stitches, take the stitches out, and parts of it that already healed, had to cut it open and get packing and get all the infection out from the inside. And I was awake when they done that. I was awake when they done it. Didn't have no numbing cream, no injections, no gas and air. I felt everything to the point that I screamed the hospital down, right? They had to get it out because it was a serious infection. What I had done with my nail was worse than that. I will never, ever, ever, ever want to have that done again, even if I was put to sleep to have it done, because it still fucking kills after. So I went to the doctor. The only thing is, when he put that one on, and when he said there's not going to be anything underneath it, it's just going to be the thumb protector, I was like, that's weird, because it's quite big. And every time I would move my thumb like that, it was banging. It was like banging against this. It was just banging against it, where there was nothing inside. So I literally had to keep my thumb so still, and I was constantly on paracetamol as well, like ibuprofen, anything I could take for the pain. It was painful. It was really painful. The worst pain, well, that I've ever had anyway. So then I went to the doctor, I went and seen the nurse. She then done the same, and I burst into tears before she even took it off. Because, excuse me, I was so scared. I was so scared that it was going to hurt. And I'll tell you something, she done it that gently. Didn't feel a thing. Because she done it really, really, really gently. And this is the one that the nurse did. And she said, we cannot just put another one of these on its own. We need to put something on the inside, because it's going to be loose. And it's going to be banging against your nail bed. It's going to be quite painful. So yeah, I've got to go back again tomorrow, which is Tuesday, to go and have it cleaned again. And by cleaned, I will not let them clean it properly because it's too painful. That I just let them drizzle that solution stuff on it. Saline, is it? I just let them drizzle that on there. I will not let them touch it at all, because, guys, it is red raw. It is painful. Yeah, so I physically can't really do anything. I know it looks like I should still, but you physically can't. I can't even put pressure at the back of my thumb, because then it makes the nail bed go boom, 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 and it hurts. Yeah, so I physically can't do any of that at the moment either. But I wanted to let you know that that's what happened. It's hard for me to do. I can't even wash up. My boyfriend has to do that. There's a lot of things that I actually can't do, believe it or not, and it is quite frustrating. But yeah, I just wanted to apologise to you guys and let you know that's why I haven't uploaded, because I only had this done a week ago, and I have been struggling. A week ago today, and it has been hard. I've been crying quite a lot because I can't do anything, and because it's painful. Even trying to wash my hair I can't even. Well, I mean, you can wash your hair with one hand, but it's hard. It's difficult. Honestly, the first 3 days of this, I couldn't even get my trousers on. I had to wear shorts, or my boyfriend put my trousers on for me, because I physically couldn't pull anything up, because I cannot put any pressure, and I mean any pressure, on my thumb at all. And so it has been quite difficult to try and do anything. It's getting better, but we'll find out tomorrow. I just want it to hurry up and scab over now, so then I can have this taken off. But I don't think I will. I think I'll be too scared to have that taken off and just like a massive scab on my thumb. Ugh, gross. But yeah, I wanted to let you guys know and just apologise to you guys if you have been waiting for a video. I'm sorry I couldn't, and it's bad as well because I'm a qualified nail technician. This should not happen to qualified nail technicians, okay? I cannot do nails. I tried to sit there, not yesterday, the day before, and do one nail. I seen this cool nail online. I was like, I'm going to try that. And I've sat there, and do you think I can do it? Because I can't hold the nail properly, and it's difficult. And I just got really annoyed at myself, and I was like, that's it, I've had enough now. So I haven't even been at my nail desk for ages and done anything like that, because I'm having to wait for this to heal before I can actually do anything properly. I'm not even supposed to be at work because of infections and things like that. Yeah, but I refused my doctor's sick note and I went to work anyway. Yeah, but I wanted to let you guys know, and again, I am really sorry that I haven't uploaded. Please leave any random comment. Let me know if you've had anything bad happen to your nails, or what happened to your nails. Did any of them, I know a lot of people have had them get trapped in car doors. My sister's did, and hers didn't fall off though. Hers just, I don't know what happened to hers. It's weird. It does look a bit funny though. But yeah, let me know if you've had anything weird happen to your nails. And please don't forget to subscribe, and please give this video a like. I know it's a gross video, but I want to be honest with you guys. I want to let you know what's been going on. Yeah, so please give this video a like, and I'll see you when I next upload. Bye, guys.